Hello, good morning, and welcome back to the Fish Locker out on the boat. We've had a lovely year so far. We've had like an Indian summer. Last week it was stunning sunshine and up to like 16 degrees. Today is not that day. Yeah, today's a cold one. I've hung back a bit because we've had a bit of mist on. I've come out now and I'm just trying to find some bait, and I'll just show you a sneak preview. This is the bait fish there swimming under the boat. See him there? Yeah, so I'm going to try and get myself some of them, get myself some mackerel or some pilchards. Then we're going to head out to an area of reef. I'm going to try some lure fishing for a bit, and then depending on what it's like when the tide changes, because we might have wind against tide, I'll put the anchor down. I'm going to try out a new piece of reef today, one that I haven't anchored it before, and I haven't lure fished it for probably 6 or 8 months. So yeah, fingers crossed, we'll see how it goes, but I think I might get my gloves out. Yeah, wish me luck. Oh, I'd gladly take that. That's a full string of mackerel and herring. Yeah, that's a fantastic way to start. I'll show you them in a second. There's a difference there, but some mackerel and some herring. Oh, there they are again. Well, that's bait taken care of. Well, that worked brilliantly. And we also got a few bonus herring. Oop. No. Oh, they're terrible days because they just put scales absolutely everywhere. Well, first fish is a nice little pollock. There you go. Not a monster, but I'm glad to get a fish over the side. Yeah, I've had a few little ones pecking at the tail of the lure. The tide's slackening off now. The tide's dropping right away to low tide, so it's getting slacker and slacker. We're drifting at about 1.2 knots. I might run over to a different bit of the reef and see if I can't pick up a bit stronger tide. Problem you come upon when you're fishing these soft lures and the tide's not very strong is you just get chewed up by wrasse. All they do is they just bite the tails off the end of your lures. So it's not even as if you catch the fish, you don't even catch the fish just done it. You just lose like £5 in lures. This drift I'm going to run a live bait out at the same time, so I've just got one of the mackerel. I'm going to stick that out on a live bait float. Now, if you can do me a favour, keep your eye on that float and tell me when it goes down. I think we've got a lot of little pollock down there at the minute, because they keep coming up and snapping at the tail of the lure and then just plucking off. Oh, there's a fish. Nice pollock, but slightly on the smaller side. I think we've just got a lot of them down there at the minute. That live bait that I've put out is a big live bait. So a little pollock like that's not going to try and take it. But a big one will. All I'm doing is I'm fishing over an area of reef, and it's really up and down. It's everywhere from being, I mean at the minute I'm in 16 metres, some of the areas it's 25 metres, and I'm just running drifts over it. Now if I find like a really productive drift, I'll try and run that again, but at the moment I'm just trying lots of different areas of the reef just to see where all the fish are. Now at the moment, the two places that I've been to already, the first one there wasn't very much drift at all. I mean at the moment I'm drifting at 1.6 knots. The other place it was just over a knot. You just keep moving around till you can find the fish. Whoa. You just keep an eye on that float for me, please. Whew. God, it has it. It's quite cold. Now all I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to pick different drifts across the reef just to find where the fish are. That's one of the things with it. It's all up and down there, so the current moves around all over the place. No two drifts that you do will ever be the same. You'll always go left, or you'll go right, or you'll completely go for a tangent. Like us now, as soon as that wind's picked up, it spun us right round, and we're instead of drifting like that type of an angle, we're now going to drift up at that type of an angle. The dilemma I'm at here is I've got a bigger lure on just so it's heavier, so it sinks better. I'm in a bit of a run of tide now, and because the fish are smaller, they're snapping at the tail of the lure because the lure's too big for them. Switch down to a smaller lure to catch them fish, and it's not as light, so I can't get down there as quick, and there's too much tide. It's just one of those things. Keep holding out for that better fish. Well, you cheeky sod. I've run 3 drifts now over this same stretch, and there's like there's one main pinnacle. One time I went one side, one time I went the other side, and this time I've gone straight over the top of it. It's lovely and calm in here, tucked in under cliff. I tell you what, if we went 5 mile off, it would be a different day completely. Still waiting for that float to go down. Don't know if you can see it just in the corner of the frame there. It's just over there. But there's every now and again, when you're fishing a live bait, you can sometimes tell what's going on the seabed, or it's going on in the water, by what the float's doing. Because if there's a predator fish down there, sometimes the bait fish can see it and it starts panicking, and the float starts, or it moves side to side. And two types of bites really that you're looking for with the float. One of them is a positive bite, meaning the float goes straight down. That means the fish has come up, picked up the bait and gone down. Another one is like a drop back bite. That's when the float, instead of sitting up, lays flat on the water. That means that something's come up and picked up the bait and the weight and come up towards the surface. Drifts drop right. Oh, lost another one. Drifts drop right down to 0.8 knots. We're just coming down to low tide. We'll have a period of slack water and then I'll put the anchor down. The reason I keep looking back at the sounder is because the area of reef that we're going over, like I say, it's up and down. And I know how deep I've got my float set. I'm drifting that way, so my float is 30 seconds behind me. I know that I'm drifting over an area now that is too shallow for my float. So my float, my bait would get stuck. So I'm checking back at the depth, just because I know that if the depth here where I am is too shallow for the float, I've got a few seconds to be able to bring my float in before the float is over the shallow area and it gets snagged on the bottom. Oh, what's it? What is that? Something keeps getting hold of it and letting it go up. That's probably squid, that. Yeah, that was really weird. You see that there where the rod just kind of hooked over. There was no fight in it, it was just a solid wave. It's either a cuttlefish or a squid. Yeah, as I was saying anyway. When the tide starts to move, we'll put the anchor down. There's no point in me putting the anchor down now because we'll just roll around, we'll just swing about. And as soon as it's there again. Yeah, squid. Yeah, it's squid. Stick a squid lure on real quick and see if I can't get one. I don't know if you could see that side of the boat, yeah, but it was a squid that was about that big. Almost got it, nearly got it. Well, we got one in the end. Right, we'll try and stick the hook down. Because I'm going to be anchoring up onto rough ground, I'm using a grapple anchor with a weak link. Right, and now I'll run the rope round the front cleat. To explain the method in which I do things, you saw me then, I just put the anchor over the side and then I put out a block of wood which the buoy has now moved down to, and I tied the rope off to the cleat at the back. So effectively now I'm anchored back to front, and all I did there was I just passed the rope over the top, tied it to the front cleat. And now if I let the rope off the cleat there, you'll just see the boat will just spin round. That's it. So all I'd done was I just, rather than worrying about putting the anchor out the front and doing everything out that little hatch, did it all here over the side, then fastened it off to the cleat. So effectively I was anchored up on my after cleat here, and as soon as I was sorted, put it over the front, tied it off, let this go, and then the boat will just swing back round. That's it. The first rigs I've put down is 2 little scratching rigs. Just 2 little 2-hook flapper rigs. Just to see what's down there. And the first little fish to come up, it's a gorgeous little male cuckoo wrasse. Now all I'm doing is I'm just fishing at little strips of mackerel bait. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I'm trying to find out what's down there, what small stuff's down there. Pouting, whiting, poor cod, that type of stuff. There's the bait. You want to get down there quick before that seagull finds you. Because if there's little fish down there, then there'll be big fish down there. A pouting, a whiting, something like that shows me a little bit conger or ling down there. Plus I might pick up a bonus bream, there could be a 3-bearded rockling, there could be anything down there. I've not fished, oh no, I didn't get that. Don't miss a trick them guys today. I'm going to give it 10 more minutes here because so far that's been 2 wrasse and 2 doggies in an hour. 10 more minutes, we'll try somewhere else. It's what it's all about, experimenting with new areas. Can't find good ones without finding some bad ones. What are you doing to me? Judging by what I caught, you might think that there was nothing on the seabed here. How wrong could I be? The seabed was covered in beautiful soft corals and sponges, starfish and sea urchins. And yes, cuckoo wrasse and dogfish. This clip is sped up, but it shows how the starfish move, doesn't it? Changed spots now, and I'm going to try and anchor up on a little patch of sand in the middle of all the rock. So I've changed my anchor over from the grapple. Yeah. That mark just was not producing. If I can show you it. See that bite? Before. Might have a ray here. Whatever it is, it hit and it ran. I didn't have the camera on to start with. The rod just hooped over and was just going zzz, 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 zzz. I've got a camera down on the seabed again, but unfortunately I think this might be getting wrapped up in it. Yeah, 5 doggies and then this, and I kind of thought I'm going to hang out, I'm going to hang on here because there might be something better. Small-eyed ray. Making it hard for me because he's coming in backwards. I don't know if you can see it over there. coming in backwards. Hopefully we might see some of that on the seabed camera. There we are. Brilliant. I think it is under closer inspection. Is it a male or a female? No, definitely a female. These days sometimes you have to check. Yeah, sometimes if it's a juvenile male and the claspers haven't formed properly yet, it can look like a female. No, this is definitely a female. There we are, the hook's all out. I've got quite a happy little face, don't I? Yeah, this is got a bite there on that rod, look as well. This is a painted ray or a small-eyed ray. Lovely looking fish. Yeah, they play out in the tide like that. They know what they're doing. All they do is they get up, get out on the tide and open their wings up and make themselves as big as possible. We've got what looks like a doggy on that rod and a bite on the other rod. So hopefully this means the fish are coming on the feed. But yes, the dogfish have found me. I'm having to retie that mini traces just because they're getting chaffed up. And there's like 2 and 3 dogfish coming in at a time. What can you do? I'd rather that than catch snout. The seabed here was completely soft. Unfortunately, that also meant we had spider crabs. Big ones. There's our small-eyed ray lurking at the back. And a couple of male masked crabs having a bit of a disagreement. They always make me laugh. Well, I don't know if you can tell, but the wind's picking up and we are just getting doggy after doggy after doggy. So I'm going to call it a day. I've had some lovely fish. I've tried out a couple of new areas. I hope that seabed cameras have shown you something. I won't know until I get back home, so it'll be exciting for me to find out too. I hope you've enjoyed joining me. All the very best. See you later.